Welcome to Packmates, a Magic the Gathering podcast about the limited format, where we take a deep dive into what's going on in Magic the Gathering Limited. I'm Andrew, and I'm the resident mid-range expert.
I'm Ryan, the resident aggro expert.
And I'm Joel, the resident combo expert.
And we are the
Packmates.
Packmates.
Yeah, we like going to our F&Ms, winning some jewels, winning some, no, I'm just kidding. Winning gyms, winning tickets, things like that. Good times.
What do I need to check out if I want to get in touch?
Yeah, if you wanna hang with us, hang with Packmates, you can check us out on Discord. Our socials are below the video, and we got a great community. We're building it up, and we've got some really good players who've been doing some really great things recently, sharing kind of their trophy decks is what we call it in our in our Discord, and then we're kind of actively drafting there as well. On the weekdays, you'll kind of catch us there. Jump on the stream with us.
Yep, you can always add us, and we can come in and help with cuts or decisions or whatever.
Yeah,
talk about your deck.
Yeah.
We had a couple.
Definitely a good time all around.
Yeah, we had a couple of festival in a box winners posts. We had some qualifier winners posts.
They were solid.
We always have trophy decks posting every week. If you haven't figured out the format,
I'm excited that they're winning that, because that means I'm going to be able to draft mystery boosters very soon.
Yes. Which the fun level on that depends on who you ask, but it can be fun.
I'm going to let them do the hard work, and then I'm going to win. Their packs.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while. Speaking of which, we went to F&M tonight, and we played in the finals. I will say unofficial. We did choose to draw.
We did choose to draw.
But for reasons that we don't necessarily have to get into, I will still go first.
Okay.
What'd
you draft today?
I had a green-white pile. It was like mostly white. But I had the Mythic. I had the Sovereign Onek. I don't even know what its name is.
Okonek Ahair, I think.
Okonek Ahair. 2 and a green-white for a 3/4 legendary Cat Noble with Ward 2. Whenever it attacks, for each creature you control with power greater than that creature's base power, put a number of 1/1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. So I did go out of my way a little bit to build around that, but not super ton.
Mm-hmm.
The most I went out of my way was adding 2 Malamet Scythes to my deck, which are, I know, a very, let's just say, not the best win rate, not the best stats.
Definitely a 22nd, 23rd card.
Yes. But in this deck in particular, it was fine. They kind of worked as very soft removal, right? And I was pretty removal light. I only had 3 real removal spells. I had a Reliquary. Death Scrolls Reliquary. I had Exile for 3 or 6, Quicksand Whirlpool, and then I had a 2-mana Cosmian Blast deals 4 to attacking or blocking. And then I had 2 of the Scythe as a trick, and then I had 1 Deconstruction Hammer to help,
very nice,
buff that power. And I had 2 Iron Paw Aspirants, but that was really all I had in the deck that could buff power besides Malamet Warscribe. That's the 5-drop that pumps the whole team for +2/+1.
Oh, yeah.
And that was
the combo that will just win you the game.
Yeah, on the spot. I almost got to do it on turn 5, and I didn't draw the land. And that was heartbreaking, to say the least. Because I had 4 dudes out. I had a 2-drop, Tinker's Tote, 2 1-drops, and the Mythic, and the Scribe in my hands. Dude, if I top a land, the game's just over right now.
Jeez. And
didn't do it, but... I ended up losing that game, but we got there. We got there in the long run.
That's what matters.
Yep. Definitely those cards were kind of suspect. The River Herald Guides were pretty suspect as well. That's the 3/1 Vigilance Explorers.
Oh yeah.
It's fairly mid, right? With the equipments though, a 5/3 even is a real threat.
It was threatening in the games that we did play, or we kind of half done played.
Yeah.
No, it did.
Played?
Yeah, no, we played them.
Okay.
Destroyed me. Not really destroyed. They're actually pretty.
They were good games. Games.
But no, that guy did some work. He was good on offense, and then with all the equipments that you had this nice critical mass of things that you could be doing. If you described that equipment to me, the green one, and said that was a card in the set, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah. Most people don't see it coming because it never gets played, right? Because it's bad. That's the kind of card that someone plays against me on Arena, and if they win, I'm mad about it.
Joel, have you ever played that card before?
Upset because I've never played it. No.
This is the first time I've ever played it too. But if there's ever a deck to do is this, would you? Okay, So I had two different cards that I almost put in instead of that, and instead of the Envoy of Okanek, Aha, whatever it's called. That the Envoy is just the 3/3 that you can pay 5 and pump out 1/1s.
Mm-hmm.
I had the 3/2 guy that lets you sack something and put 2/1 counters on stuff. Would you have played that? I had 2 of those over any of these 3 drops.
I would have definitely played it over the second site because you can sack like Market Gnome, for instance. You can sack something which has been like petrified, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
Even
often
sacking your
sacked
Tinker's Tote
a
to that
tote. Yeah.
is pretty reasonable. Yeah.
I sided it in against
and then
Andrew.
You also have like 3 big mana sinks from it, like the double Malamet Scythe and the Envoy. Not to
Yeah.
mention 2 caves, right?
Yeah.
That is a lot of mana sinks, and they get way worse in multiples.
Right.
So I think I would definitely cut one of those, if not maybe 2, but at least the first one.
Another really disappointing card, even in this deck where I think it's meant to be, was Kendrali's Dawnrunner. That's a 3 mana 1/1 double strike that explores. Like if there's ever a place for that guy to have a home, it's got to be this deck, right? Like, and I don't think it was that good. It didn't feel that good ever.
Yeah, I feel like that's a card that's like pretty polarizing because when you're on defense against a bunch of X1s, it feels disgusting.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are times it feels really good, but then on rate, if your opponent just doesn't have anything that's particularly bad to it, it's just not that great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think against Andrew.
I would always
play,
just outpace it when I was playing against it. You know, I played something that had a higher toughness than what it could just deal on the first strike, and it would just evenly trade. And he put a lot of work into it, you know, equipping something to it or, you know, sneaking on another counter to it.
Yep. Andrew played the 7/7, and I had to just like completely kit it up, like spend an entire turn just to bust through the 7/7 so I could get my other stuff through later. And it did not feel great. And that's like a blowout if he has like one thing in his hand. Right? So
your only real answer to those is Quicksand and the Dustro's Reliquary. If you don't have those, you just gotta
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I just had to trade with the double striker. I mean, he did trade with it, like, right? And I was able to eventually get through that board state and punch some damage through. I think you might have ended up winning that game, but I think it was still like a relatively close game.
It was
and
pretty
like,
close.
if I could have never done that, it would not have been close, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, it was like the deck was like cohesive, but none of its parts were like individually that amazing. But yeah, beat Andrew's deck. What do you got?
Joel, would you have thought that deck is a 3-0 deck?
I mean, I'm thinking it's a solid 2-1 deck. But you can win with some really bad decks.
Yeah.
I've definitely done it before.
Yeah. It's not the deck. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. If you guys haven't learned anything from this pod, the deck is just one of the tools. It's not the deck.
Yeah.
It's the deck master. The cards are irrelevant, right? It's just like poker. The cards don't matter. It's just how you use the cards that matters.
Deuce 7 offsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I've had some deuce 7s in my life.
This is a deck where if you don't know how to navigate combat, you could go 0-3.
Yeah, you could really misevaluate your roll quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think people are a lot worse at combat math than they think they are.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Some people are for sure. I mean, I miss stuff sometimes too. Like I miss Andrew having 2 mana dorks to give his dude death touch today.
It was very good.
But I still think I would have done the same.
I was tapping my mana like crazy different ways to just throw you off the scent of what I had.
And yet it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Well, you spike a bunch of lands. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true. Half caves, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't have any caves. I needed 1 cave probably in that deck.
Yeah.
At least 1 for the.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about your deck.
Yeah, so it was an interesting draft. We had a 9-man pod when we started off. And so I got pulled in multiple directions here. I actually had like 5 red cards by the end of the draft that were like pretty quality red cards. But I ended up going Bant, actually, just like an actual solid Bant deck. Double pips and a lot of things, but I also had I had the Frog, and I also had the rare what's it called?
Intrepid Paleontologist.
Thank you. Intrepid Paleontologist in my deck. I didn't get very many dinos in this deck. Actually, I just had the Cycler and the Cavern Stomper as well. And that was basically my dinos. But I did have some bombs. in this thing. I actually had the Unstable Glyph Bridge. And I also had, it's a 4/4 for 1 green, 1 blue. And it's a 2. And it's Deep Fathom Echo. That guy just is so value. Like you get the ability right off the bat. It's so nice to have that. And I think that's always something that when you look at your creatures with abilities, things that trigger on the upkeep, okay, you got to keep it alive one turn. This guy triggers on combat.
Yep.
So you just got to main phase him, and then you're, boom, already into the exploring. I drew so many lands off this guy. It was great.
Yeah.
And then option, you're playing a 4-mana 5/5 on the first turn. Right?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Like, that's not even looking at the other value, like copying flyers to get an evasive damage.
Oh, man, yeah.
Or, like, yeah, there's just so many cool things you can do with
Copying Colossal Dactyl to give them 4 or 5 reach and trample, like 1 bonus toughness and trample was sick.
Yeah. Yeah, this deck was it was a pretty sweet deck. It had some good things in there. It had a Spyglass Siren, which was really good. That card is just, I don't know, what's the win percentage on, like 62% right now? I'm almost certain it's in this.
Really high.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Yeah.
And 3 Waterwind Scouts is insane.
Yeah, 3 I could have had a 4th one, but I got I had to find some sort of removal, so I had to take the thing that dealt 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature.
You don't need remove when you have that many flyers, bro. I think you take the 4 day. You took a Cosmium Blast over a Scout.
I needed it. I didn't have anything except for the Glyph Bridge.
You don't need anything. You just you chump and go over the top.
I could have just I had
the board whip. Yeah.
That might have been better, actually.
I think it would have been, honestly, even though you ended up with very limited removal.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised how that all went by. One of my more sussy cards, I think, was this 5-cost Hurl into History. It was a little sussy. It's pretty tough having always keeping up 5 mana in a deck that you just keep wanting to do stuff.
It is, it's so obvious. If they play around it at all, it's like,
he got me with it
when
once.
you randomly get their bomb with it, it's cool.
It's
right? But that does not happen very often.
If you're ahead on board and you have that, man, it feels real good. If you're at the creature, if you've broken the parity of the creatures on board and you have that, because you're just going to add at least something good to the board, unless you flip over the deal 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature with that. But you get it in your hand, so that's good.
Yeah, or Unlucky Drop.
Oh, Unlucky Drop's gas.
Huh?
Unlucky Drop's gas.
How many did you win any games that you drew Unlucky Drop?
Of course.
Oh. Yeah. Not against me.
Not against you, but it's good. Yes.
Not against, when it mattered, really.
Yeah. Not in the finals, baby.
No, not in the finals. Yeah, it was a sweet deck, though. I really enjoyed it. It muscled through quite a few people with just the flyers. I'd get an aggressive start, and then they'd kind of get the board on me a little bit, or maybe they added something that was really big, and they just Glyph Bridge them. I will say I flipped the Glyph Bridge, and that other side of it won me a game.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. 5/3 flyer.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
There was massive.
And then super relevant abilities.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Not being able to attack or cast spells. It slows them down so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was the old question of, well, I kill it with this spell. Now can I attack? And you realize, no, it's a trigger. It puts a delayed trigger on the stack for you. And so it's just, oh, man, that was really rough. They were like, oh, I finally got to deal with it. But now I can't attack you. And then you just swing back and win.
I think Unlucky Drop is my favorite card to play against because I do 17 land strokes. I'm like, well, you just gave me 3 extra percentage points to win because I'm drawing this card again. You're just dooming yourself. Unlucky Drop gives you -0.5, and now I get to draw this card a second time for plus 3.5. Game's over.
It was a little tough against your deck. It was a little tough because you had so many come into play abilities.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh man, I gotta find the right opportunity for this thing. I got a couple of good ones on there, but it just, man.
I feel like the decks Unlucky Drop is best against are bad decks because you already want the ETB stuff, right?
Yeah.
All the best stuff has that.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't and it's a bomb and they get to replay it again, right? Yeah. It's awful then too. Yeah. So it's best against the people playing mediocre cards.
Yeah.
Wizards isn't in the business of making vanilla creatures anymore, so everything has something on it. And just letting them rebuy just some random ability, even if it's scrying or something, is still giving them some advantage back.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some times where they'll bury the thing, but then you're using 4 mana to deal with their 2-drop, and it's like, oh, cool. I don't know.
Oh, man. Joel, do you think this is a 3-0 deck?
I would say I felt like it was more of a 3-0 deck than Ryan's. So,
yeah.
You would be mistaken.
Evidently.
Variance is a thing.
Variance is a thing.
I think it's a lot bigger than most people realize. Yeah.
It is.
It really is, yeah. And those swings, yeah.
Sequencing is huge too.
Yeah. Why am I the only one who ever mulligans? Every time I mulligan, I think that I'm just like,
Because you're
"Man, I'm
playing
mulliganing."
3 colors with 0 fixing.
I
You have two. You have
I
two
got
frogs.
your boy in there.
You have two.
Got your boy
Yeah.
in there.
Hello.
Look at him.
He's your boy now.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're playing him.
It was a very reluctant play.
You're fully in.
Just don't like my dune movers, man.
What was out of place in your deck besides the counter?
The counter was pretty egregious.
The riddle. The riddle's not good.
Which one's
The one that counters unless they pay 4.
Or it's like a weird 3-mana impulse. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was a little sussy. I actually did get the counter on there. And somebody like actually put me on that counter. I was holding it up the entire game and they were like, "You have the counter spell, don't you? Is it 3 or is it 4?" And they were just sitting there contemplating it. And then they finally just pulled the trigger. It was 4.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, it was good. But kudos to them for actually really actually just trying to play around it. And it got to the point where they're like, "Okay, look, I got to cast a spell or else I'm going to lose."
Yeah. The only time you had it against me, I felt like we were both in a top deck war, and I felt like it was just as likely you were holding a land as you were holding.
I mean,
like
at that
anything,
point, it
right?
was like a
it's just
removal.
like, I'm gonna keep adding to the board, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
If you just didn't have a creature there, I would have impulsed. I
Yeah,
would have impulsed at the end
Yeah,
of turn
for sure.
for it. Yeah.
it's almost better for me to let you counter the creature probably than to impulse.
I don't know. I
don't
mean, I don't know. It's easier to, I mean, you use it as a removal spell at that
You
point.
did counter a discover.
Mhm.
You did counter a discover but you did counter a 1-drop, the Wayward Scout guy that gets way bigger, right?
Yeah.
He is a rare, but
It was pretty rough. You would have been able to actually pump that guy, and he gets flying.
I would have been able to pump him like once a turn.
I think the
Scry one.
flying was really what I was countering there.
Flying
Yeah.
and vigilance, right?
Yeah.
Or
It was rough. I think I was like 5 life too, or something. I was at a very low life.
Yeah, you had it. I mean, you had to counter it
Yeah.
for sure.
So it was either I could impulse into the flyer, which you outclass immediately. Like the first counter you get, you've already outclassed my flyers that I have in my deck. So
Yeah, that's true.
he was an auto counter as far as I was concerned.
Well, he doesn't become a flyer until he has 3 counters.
Yeah, he could outpaced a lot of.
He does get a scry every time you add a counter to him, which is sick in that top deck war.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I guess.
It was a good deck. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, despite in all a 3-color deck. I just knew something was going on when I was 3 colors. The person next to me was 3 colors. The person to the side of me was 3 colors. I look around. Almost everyone in our pod was 3 colors. It was just a
something
wonky.
has gone very wrong there.
Exactly.
3-color win rates are like all so much lower than 2-color
Oh
win
my
rates.
gosh.
You know,
I
it
was
doesn't
more,
matter what you look at.
I was 2.
There was
That's
like
two.
an Atali's favor or something like that. How many Atali's favors were in the pod?
I saw at least 3.
I saw at least 4.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
So
Yeah.
pack 1, pick 1. I got the mythic 3/4. Then Roby's like, I'm gonna set this pack up for you. I know what you should pick. And I look at the pack, and he's got the 1/1 flying lifelink bat and the Dusk Rose Reliquary. And I feel like he thought I should take the bat, and I took the Reliquary. What are your thoughts on that?
I really like the lifelink bat.
I think the lifelink bat was the way to go.
I ended up finding no more
Yeah.
removal, and the Reliquary was very good.
Yeah.
And you want to know what else would have been good? Putting 1/1 counters on a flying lifelink bat.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. But does that ever
Like,
outpace?
putting Malamet Scythe on that?
Yeah.
Like,
You also had the pause. You had all
I
that
mean, I
good
did have the
stuff.
paw. I mean, I could have supported I would have loved to have both, but I took the Reliquary, and it did every time I played the Reliquary, I did win the game. Besides once, I don't know. Like the Reliquary is so close to just Swords to Plowshares.
Reliquary is very good.
But it was close. Yeah, it was a tough choice. But yep. Okay. What about your deck of the week, Joel?
Yeah. What were you doing in Magic this week?
So my deck for this week was actually a vintage cube deck. I have
Ooh.
been playing a significant amount of the Alpha Frog Vintage Cube on Magic the Gathering Online. It's in their Cube Spotlight series.
Oh, nice.
And they have both leagues, which they're good, but I've been doing pretty much exclusively elimination drafts. So this week I had a pretty sweet lands deck. So I had Strip Mine and Wasteland, which obviously, just disrupting your opponent's mana base.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can recur those. If you can play them from your graveyard, Raymond Excavator,
Oh, yeah.
and just lock them out of the game.
Very
It's
good. Very
pretty
good.
sweet. And then Fast Bond lets you play any number of lands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you can go turn 1 Fast Bond, play every land in your hand, it's, pretty gross. And then I also had a bunch of combos in this deck. I was like blue-green combos, which is not an archetype you normally end up in.
No, you
but
never really see that.
it really worked out though. So I had Channel, which is obviously just a busted card,
Yeah,
right?
what a
And I
beating.
did have I had the perfect combo with it, which is Emrakul, right? Turn 2 or turn 1 with Fast Bond.
Tell me you had a
You hard
Mox in
cast
your
an
deck.
Emrakul.
Does this cube have Moxes in it?
It does have the full power 9,
Oh,
right?
man.
So there were Moxes, there's Black Lotus, there's all that.
Oh, my gosh.
Sadly, I did not have any of the Moxes, but with Fast Bond, you can do it,
Oh, that's true,
right?
yeah.
You just play Fast Bond, play 2 forests, cast Channel, play Emrakul,
Jeez.
right?
Living the
I
dream.
did have one piece of power, Ancestral Recall.
Yeah, I saw
which
that.
is
Very sweet.
Yeah, definitely one of the more busted ones.
They don't make
So
them like
that was
that
sweet.
anymore. They don't
Yeah.
make them 1 blue,
You know-
draw 3 instant.
Insane.
Actually, it's target player too, right?
Yeah, there are random times where you can use it to deck your opponent.
Yeah.
Not in this particular one, but I had a time where my opponent was on Underworld Breach Brain Freeze LED combo, right? And the basis of that is you mill your entire deck and then you mill your opponent. And once he milled his entire deck, I cast Ancestral Recall targeting him.
Oh. Sick.
Oh man, defeat from the jaws
That
of
was
victory.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
crap.
Exactly. It was pretty sweet. A couple of the other combos in this one are Flash. Flash is really well supported in this cube. There's just so many sweet things to flash in. And
What-
the way
what
that
does that
card
do?
works, so you have 1 and a blue, and it lets you put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield, and then you have to pay its mana cost reduced by 2 or sacrifice it. So you're always going to sacrifice it. You're never paying the mana cost. But you get the ETB and death triggers of any creature, right? So in this case, the combo is with World Spineworm, which is an 11 drop. So you're never hard casting it.
Right.
But you just put it into play, you sacrifice it, and when it dies, you get 3 5/5s with trample.
That's insane.
So 2 mana, instant speed, 15 power. All right.
This does not sound like a fun thing to do at all. This format sounds like I would hate it.
See, this format is all about doing a more busted thing than your opponent and stopping your opponent from doing their thing. All right?
Yeah.
When you're hardcasting Emrakul, that tends to be, the best thing.
Yeah.
Flashing in World Spineworm, my opponent in round 1 was playing an aggressive white deck. He went turn 1, he had a 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, right? And then he attacks with everything. I flash in World Spineworm, eat his board.
Yeah.
Right?
GG.
It's just game over on the spot.
Yes.
And that's why I love drafting combo in Vintage Cube. You can draft your fair decks, you can draft your aggro decks, and it'll be maybe a little more consistent. When you can get your good combo decks going like this one, it is both way more fun and then you actually get the trophy. Like a good aggro deck, if you don't have any power, you don't really get anything going, maybe you go 2-1 at best. You just don't really get the same trophies. Whereas when you get a combo deck going, you can just run over everyone.
Sounds like you need a pretty deep knowledge of the pool to be able to pull this off.
Yeah, I both watch an insane amount of Vintage Cube and then I play a lot. I've probably done over 40 drafts of this, to be honest.
Wow.
So just this rotation, obviously.
Yeah.
Overall.
So is that my best avenue then if I want to get into it? Like I just need to watch a bunch first?
I would definitely, there are a lot of people on YouTube who do it. LSD is probably the biggest one. He has a Discord where he plays with them. He talks through all his picks, so that's great. There's also a Discord you can join. I believe it's called the Divination. They do a lot with Cube Draft, and then also just grinding on MTGO. Even if you go negative for a while at the beginning, it's a super fun time. It's not too expensive to do. It's 10 each, but if you get 1 win in an Elan draft, then you're even, and more than that, you're positive.
One win, you said, in an Elan draft?
So 1 win, you're getting 100 play points, which is your buy-in. But the idea is, right, if you lose, you're instantly knocked out.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty good. I deeply enjoy when they do it. And then in just a few days, actually, they're switching from the current cube, which is the Alpha Frog cube. And actually, for this trophy deck, I had the pleasure of playing with Alpha Frog himself, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, but they're switching to the MTGO cube, and there were actually 120 changes this time around. So it is going to be very different. So if there's a time to get into it, it is definitely going to be with that. So all the players have been playing for a while. It's going to be very different. Right, it's a 540 card cube. Okay. So if we're changing out 120 cards of it, it's going to look wildly different.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So some of the go on.
So what are you thinking is going to be strong with the changes?
Yeah, so some of the biggest ones the twin combo is out. For those who played Modern, right, the classic combo is Deceiver, Exarch, or Pestermite. And then you have Splinter Twin or Kiki Jiki. And you untap and then tap your guys to make infinite hasty attackers, right? And they're taking that combo out completely. They're taking out some of like the storm elements that used to exist, and they're putting in more support for a Doomsday package where we're putting Thassa's Oracle back in, we're putting Jace, Builder of Mysteries, right?
Yeah.
Those are both cards where if your library's gone, you win the game. And then Doomsday is the classic triple black, lose half your life. You get to pick 5 cards to become your library.
Yeah.
All right. So I imagine Doomsday is going to be incredibly strong if you can get it anytime in like pack 1, right?
Yeah.
But it is definitely a heavy build around.
Yeah,
right?
there's some very specific cards you need for that right off the bat when you play that.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You're going to want acceleration. You probably want Dark Ritual. Turn on Dark Ritual is definitely the way to go. And then you need one of the payoffs, really, either Thassa's Oracle or Jace.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be one of those cards where either it is like the best card in your deck or you just can't even really play it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Other than that, they're putting more support for a lands package, actually. So if you notice in that deck, I had a lot of lands elements, but I didn't actually get all of them. In the current cube, there's a card called Zuranorb where you can sacrifice a land to gain 2 life. And if I could have gotten that in the trophy deck, I would have actually had infinite mana and infinite life with Fast Bond and Ram Knot Excavator.
Mm-hmm.
You sacrifice land to gain 2 life, and then you play it from your graveyard, you lose a life from Fast Bond. So then you can tap it in between to get infinite mana, you can keep sacking him to get infinite life. Right? But they're putting even more support in for this upcoming cube. We're putting in Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. We're putting in Valakut Exploration, which is an enchantment where whenever a land enters, you exile the top card and you can play it. And then if you don't play it, it deals damage equals the number of exiled cards. And then we have the classic Scape Shift. So the cool combo there is you sacrifice all your lands, right? You tutor up Valakut, and then you want something that makes all your lands mountains. And then because they all see each other entering, Valakut instantly kills your opponent. And there's a couple ways to turn your lands into mountains. There's Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which turns all your lands into every basic land type, right? And there's also a 2-mana enchantment.
Prismatic Omen.
Exactly, yeah. Makes your lands every basic land type. I'm a little skeptical of Prismatic Omen, but I could definitely see just, Dryad's a good card by itself. You can already play it in like these green rampy decks. And then just having like a combo finish like that would definitely be a big upgrade. Other than that, some of the more impressive changes is we are losing some white cards overall. Like just the overall number of white cards is going down, and we are getting some more support for artifacts, just more colorless cards as a whole. And then green is also getting a domain like sub theme. Where you're trying to get all 5 colors. There's Tribal Flames, Territorial Kavu, Nishoba Brawler, these kind of cards that really want you to assemble every basic land type. So I'm a little skeptical of like the 5-color aggressive zoo idea that it looks like they're leaning towards. It seems like it's going to be hard in a competitive pod to get enough fixing for that to actually be where you want to be. Because the biggest thing you'll notice when playing with players who play Vintage Cube a lot, and people who are new, is how aggressively good players take fixing. Because most of the cards in Vintage Cube are really broken, right? So being able to play all of the most broken cards on curve is where you want to be. So you need fixing to do that. So we'll see if that pans out.
So do they have all the original duels? They probably have all the shocks as well. Did they play the? Do they have the triomes in that now?
There are triomes. It is not every triome, I believe. I'd have to double check that. But we do have some triomes, and then there is full fetch lands.
Oh, okay, great.
Right? So you can assemble, a good mana base, definitely. But those are cards that are definitely fought over.
Yep. Well, that sounds fun. Make sure if you are drafting it, maybe jump on the stream, and I'd love to watch 1 or 2, or jump in the Discord. I mean,
and if
go ahead.
Anyone's interested in doing some of the elimination drafts, join the Discord and just ask. I'm on a lot, so ask to hop in an elimination draft and we can get in one together. It'd be a good time.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You could even just post in there and schedule one. If people want to join, they
Absolutely.
could. Yeah. I would maybe do that with people. That'd be dope. I'd probably get wrecked, but that's fine.
We will take all of your ticks.
Yeah, that's okay. They're just ticks.
Exactly. Yeah.
Looking at Joel's deck, Oh my gosh, it got me flashbacks of when I used to play like vintage cube with my friends after. So we'd do our standard tournament, and then we had a fully powered cube channel, Emrakul. Like this is back when the Eldrazi first came out, and so like channel was like hella good.
Yeah.
When you were just like causing
Yeah.
like Emrakul, you know?
Yeah.
And
There are other Eldrazi in the cube that you can get.
oh
I
man,
didn't see any.
the
I
best
picked up a late channel.
The
Yeah.
best was when we had Crucible of Worlds. This was before the creature that you were talking about, the one that brings back from the graveyard the lands. So it was just like Crucible Strip with so Crucible Strip was just good.
Crucible Strip is still in the cube,
Is
and
it?
I
Okay.
tried to wheel the Crucible because I already had the Strip Mine and the Wasteland. Right? The idea is nobody else wants Crucible Worlds.
Right?
And
Yeah.
I did not wheel the Crucible Worlds, and I was
Oh,
upset.
Dang. That's hella good. I mean, it's the same deal with like Fastbond Zeranorb. I'm glad that they're putting Zeranorb in there. That card's like deceivingly good.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how often you can like be ahead on board.
Yeah.
They're trying to like burn you out, and you just like sack a couple lands.
It's frightening, yeah. It's one of those
0-mana artifacts also for like Tolarian Academy, Urza,
Yeah.
right?
I'm surprised too.
My pack one pick one was actually Tolarian Academy. And I did not get the artifacts.
Damn. Did they have Mind Over Matter in the cube?
I don't believe so.
Oh, shoot. Okay, that's always one of the better ones.
You guys are basically speaking a different language right now.
Oh, man. This is like...
Cube is a different language.
Cube is a different language. It's so fun, though. And you learn so many interactions and... Oh, man. But it really does favor people who actually study it, though. Like going in cold and trying to... Oh, man.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to get Wesley into it, and I can't do it because going in cold is so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone always just, when they go in cold, they're like, I'm going to storm because, you know, storm's cool. It's really easy to do. And then you just get blown out because you don't understand how to build storm at all in there.
yeah. Drafting storm is hard.
It really is.
I like drafting combo, but storm specifically, I avoid.
I think combo just kind of happens, like, you know, when you're trying to build some sort of control-y deck, and then it just so happens, like, you're like, oh, I need a way to win. Like, let's just throw this combo.
No, I just like I take one of like two combo pieces super early though, even if I haven't seen the other one.
Yeah.
Like I took World Spine Worm before I had Flash. Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it was a mediocre pack and it was a speculative pick and it paid off big time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that was a cool color combo though. Going actual just like, you know, green blue.
Yep.
But you had so many of the best things though. Like the Fastbond is insane, and then you had the Ancestral, which like is just easy windmill slam.
Ancestral is a broken card.
Yeah, it's like slam dunk first pick. You know, like okay, and it doesn't even matter if you're like, okay, we'll figure out a way to put it in the deck. You know, this is gonna happen.
How early do you have to take a card like Dismember in a draft like that?
Dismember is actually one of the more premium removal spells, I would say, just because it is always 1 mana.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the difference between 1 and 2 mana removal is like infinite in Vintage Cube.
Right.
So Dismember, I'd say, is probably going on average around 4th to 5th pick.
Damn.
Maybe just because on average first pick is going to be either Moxen or like Minsk and Boo, 4th year Lingus, that kind of thing.
Oh.
Right. Second pick is going to be something somewhat similar or a combo piece potentially. 3rd to 4th, you can often find something better than Dismember. Not always. It might go then. Honestly, I've definitely 3rd picked Dismember a couple times, but then that is when you're taking your premium removal.
I remember one of the first.
It depends wildly on the pack.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember one of the first sets I ever drafted had Dismember in it, and I just didn't get it. Like I just didn't understand why it was so good.
It's
now I definitely do, obviously. But
when do you hit the panic button and just go mono red or go mono white? Like when do you know it's
Okay,
just
here's
like
the thing.
I gotta bail?
After pack 1, if it is like obvious that one of those is super open and I can't get anything, that's fine. But also, like, if I pack 1, pick one of 4th year Lingus, I might force Boros aggro, right?
Yeah.
Like if there's just busted cards.
Yeah.
But I definitely prefer drafting combo.
It's
Because
fun
if you look at my Magic Online history, it is almost exclusively 0-1s from elims or 3-0s. The number of 2-1s or 1-1s, I have like 4.
the average is out to positive, right? Like if you went 0-1-3-0, that's good.
Yeah, no. Like my win rate right now is 67% playing elim queues.
That's all good.
Like
that's because you only lose one though when you lose, right?
Yeah.
Like when the deck's bad, you only lose
say
one.
something about the fact that. But at the same time, if everyone's doing elim queues right, it would still be a 50% overall win rate. Like,
yeah, you might have to walk me through that math later, but sure.
No,
Weren't you a math
it's
teacher?
still a zero-sum game, right?
Yeah.
Like for every play that wins, there's a loss, right?
Right.
So the overall pool, if you look at a population, is going to be even.
Yes, for sure.
On an individual level, you can still have bias, though, even in an even population.
Yeah. Okay. We gonna talk about our next thing now?
Okay, what's our next thing?
Tough decisions.
Yes.
So
Okay.
next up, we have just a small segment. Back to Lost Caverns. Back to the working man set. Back to the real world. We're not doing stupid Emrakul turn 2 bullshit.
It's
Turn
good.
1, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good, man. You haven't lived until you've done it.
I've played Emrakul turn 1 before, but it was with Summoning Trap because they countered my Llanowar elf. And they're like, why don't you just play Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, if you want to do shit like that, why don't you just play Yu-Gi-Oh?
When you just like swamp innocent blood after that.
But yeah.
I have gotten my Emrakul solitude too many times.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
All right.
All right. So our first tough decision. These are pack one, pick ones. What would you take? Andrew can go first.
Sure.
Waterwind Scout. That's a 2/2 flyer for 3 that makes a map.
Yep.
Or Akawali, the Seething Tower. That's a 1 green black 3/3. Descend 4 gets +2/+2 and trample. Descend 8 +2/+2 again, and can only be blocked by 1 creature.
Waterwind Scout.
It's like not even close.
It wouldn't even cross my mind. At first pick, no way. It's the Waterwind Scout every time. Akawali's just too build aroundy, and it's in the wrong colors that I want to be in. I want to be in blue in this set, and I need to have my map tokens as well.
What do you think, Joel?
I would definitely agree with the second point there, that is in the wrong colors. Pack 1, pick 1, right? I would much rather send a signal to green black, which are colors that are, mediocre, and pick a strong blue common and take Akawali. I do think Akawali is actually like higher upside in the right deck, right? Like in a deck that enables it well, where it's getting, on turn 4, it's a 5/5. I do think Akawali is quite a bit better. But getting there and also just being a green and black card, a 2-color card, pack 1 and pick 1, I'm definitely taking the Waterwind Scout.
Yeah. Could there be other cards? Let's say it's like an elimination draft, right? Or, F&M.
Mm-hmm.
If there are other cards in the pack, would that influence your decision at all? Like, let's say there was no other good like green or black commons, but maybe there was a decent blue common. Like there was, you know what I mean? Would that influence your decision at all, or not at all?
I do think you want to take the entire pack into account because you want to think about what signals you're sending, right? Assuming you're playing with people that are going to read those. I do think you should pay attention to, if you're playing with a bunch of new players at the table, then don't read too much into the signals that you're sending or getting, right? Take the good cards.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you're playing with good regulars, then you definitely need to be paying more attention to what you're passing and what's wheeling than you probably are. I think that is like the easiest way to level up your draft game.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
It's, realizing that 3 of the white cards are gone from this pack that wheeled, right? Maybe white is not the place to be. Even if I'm getting a couple decent white cards, you noticing those kind of things makes a huge difference, right?
Yep.
And when you watch good players play or like commentate their drafts, they definitely point out things that didn't wheel or things that wheeled that they think shouldn't have, right?
Yeah.
And so paying attention to what's in the pack, other than just like the slam dunk, even if there's like a slam dunk rare you're going to take.
Yeah.
Think about everything else in the pack just in terms of how is this going to affect the rest of my draft.
Yep. Yeah, we did a segment on that like a while back, a couple sets ago. And I think a good starting place is to remember, try to like, eventually you'll be able to, like, believe it or not, you'll be able to remember every card you pass, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, and it's kind of insane to think about for like a new player, like there's no way, right? But I mean, you pretty much remember every card that you pass, right?
Yeah, for sure. When I'm doing Vintage Cube, I'm keeping track of every single card that is being taken, right? And I'm trying to guess who's taking what.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if there's a card that I think is slam dunk, but I'm passing to a specific person, I'm noticing that for the rest of the draft and slanting them towards that color, right? Then I could potentially hate draft something from that later if I have to choose, right? Things like that definitely make a huge difference.
Yep. But I think a good starting place is try to point out, like if you take Waterwind Scout here, try to identify 3 to 4 cards that you think could pair well with it. And then when that comes back around, check and see if any of those are still there.
I think the upside of Waterwind Scout is it just goes in every deck. Like
I mean, it doesn't go in dinos, right? Like, it goes in every blue deck for sure.
Yeah, if you're playing islands, you're going to play this card.
Yes.
Like it doesn't it's one pip. It has a map token, which is actually kind of relevant.
You're never splashing Waterwind Scout.
I'm not going to splash it per se, but if I'm having islands in my deck, it's making the cut.
Yeah.
If I'm splashing blue, I am also playing Waterman Scout.
You think so?
Yeah.
Pretty often, yeah. Like,
It's
it
so
is a
much
really
worse on
solid
turn
card,
7 than it is on 3, though. It's so much worse.
but it's still a good card on turn 7.
It's an okay card on 7.
I would rather be playing that than nothing. Like,
What about a Malamet
Flyers in this set
Scythe?
are important.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in agreement here. I do think if the card were slanted to be heavy blue, there is a world where I do pass the Scout, but I think 9 out of 10 times I'd probably take the Scout. Okay, the next one we have Dusk Rose Reliquary and Colossal Dactyl. I'll go first on this one. I'm taking the Reliquary, I think. That's the 1 mana second artifact, exile something, and it's Ward 2. I think the fact that it's single pipped is huge. I think you can easily splash this if you're out of its colors as just a solid removal spell. And then if you are in its colors, it's going to be a top 5 to 6 card in your deck. I think more decks will play Reliquary than will play Colossal Dactyl in general in the format, just because of the double pip. So yeah, I'm at Dusk Rose. What do you at, Joel?
So on this one, I'm definitely like leaning towards Colossal Dactyl. I just like, I'm a bigger fan of the card, right? But it is double pipped. And I do think that is an important point, right?
Yep.
It's not just going to go in any single deck, right? Whereas Dusk Rose is the kind of like premium removal you can splash. I think this one's pretty close. I could definitely see an argument for either. And this is where, looking at the rest of the pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there are 3 other strong white cards, and this is the only good green card, I'm definitely going to be like snapping up the good green card, sending a strong white signal, and then trying to get green, right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. For like 17 lands data, Dusk Rose is like a 2.8% increase when you draw, right? Improvement when drawn. And then its opening hand win rate is 56.5, which is above average, right? Even for 17 lands users.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not like crazy above average or anything.
What about games played win rate?
Games played win rate, it's also at exactly the same, 56.5.
Okay. I hit me with those Colossal Dactyl stats. Well, let's ask Andrew first, and then you hit me with those stats and tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think, oh man.
Be Andrew. You know what you're taking. Come on. I know what you're taking.
I mean, I want to take the removal spell, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
But I think this one in particular takes a little work to do, right? To get it like on time, right?
Very minimal. I mean, you're never catching on 1, so on time is
well, like on time. I mean, like you really want it to cast for 1 every time you do it, right? What's the alternate? It's like
no. There's no alternate.
Oh,
Sack
there's
a
no
creature or an artifact.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot.
There's no alternate.
Creature. Well, creature's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you have a gnome or something where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
I gotta take that. I'm taking the Reliquary.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, tell me why
Their
I'm wrong.
stats are actually more similar than you might think. Like I
Yeah.
said, I think this is a very close, right?
Yeah.
It's 2.4 improvement when drawn compared to 2.6. So the Colossal Dactyl is just slightly worse. The game's drawn win rate for Colossal Dactyl is slightly better. It's at 57.1.
Mm-hmm.
The opening hand win rate is just ever so slightly better at 56.8, right? And the game's played win rate is also just ever so slightly better. Or no, slightly worse, actually, at 55.6.
Yep.
So very mixed there, right? It's not like a clear, this one's better, this one's worse. And that's what I'm saying. I think there's an argument for either, but the double pip probably should push you towards Dusk Rose.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a close one. And it's like preference too, right? Like some people just want to play big stuff and beat down. And preference can give you more wins. Like I know ideally, like everyone likes to say, I'm not biased, like I'll draft the best available. But when you have decisions like this, sometimes it's better to lean into what you do best, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like if you have something you're good at, no one is going to be, the absolute best at every attribute of Magic, right? Like there's a lot of skill in this game, even sometimes it doesn't feel like it. There's so many decision points.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And if you have to spend way more time playing a certain archetype, leaning into that a little bit is okay.
Yep. Okay. Last one, we have Spyglass Siren, the 1/1 flyer for 1 that gets a map token, versus Gishath Sun's Avatar. This is a mythic rare, 8 mana that includes a red, green, and white, 7/6 trample, vigilance, haste. And when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to play dinos for free from the top of your library. What's the pick, Joel?
I think this is very easy. Spyglass Siren, not even close.
It's a mythic.
It is, believe it or not, the rarity of cards is not necessarily how good they are. I have seen people try to make Gishath work a number of times, and unless if you somehow make it to turn 8 and like the board's clear, there's nothing bigger, right? Then sure, it's good, but I would much rather be playing my 1/1 flyer on one, make a map, hit him for 2 next turn. It's just so much better.
If
And
you
the data definitely
drafted
supports it.
Gishath and you're not playing it until turn 8, you deserve to lose. First off,
You know what? That is slightly reasonable.
Yeah.
We can ramp into it, but it's not even necessarily the biggest thing on the board.
No.
There's 6 mana 7/7s, and this is an 8 drop.
well, I drafted all the 7/7s because I'm the dinos guy, right?
Oh yeah, you hate drafted it. That
Yeah.
works.
No, I didn't hate draft it. I'm just playing. I'm the
Absolutely.
ramp deck, right? Like I'm playing. I'm playing all the dinos.
So you get that pack
And,
one, pick one.
Actually, I mean, I probably take the Siren. It depends. Like it depends on my mood. If I'm playing like a tournament, I'm trying to win money, and like I care, I'll take the Siren. If I'm on arena and I don't care, you know what I mean? Like just for fun's sake, I'm
If you're
taking.
just messing around.
Yeah, I'm taking Gishath just because it's fun.
I definitely had a quick draft a week ago or so where I did get the Gishaft. I tried to make it work.
Yeah,
I really did.
You have to.
You know, I was like, all right, this is gonna be funny.
yeah.
It was not a very good deck. And
You
I
went
got
1
it.
and 3, 2 and 3, maybe.
Yeah, it was real bad. I think it was 2 and 3. I mean, it was so tough. I even got it out one game and still didn't win. And it's like,
That's
it's
my
got
problem with it.
Yeah,
It's not 8 mana win the game. People
Yeah.
think
exactly.
it is,
Yeah,
and it is not.
Yep.
yeah. I mean, this is Siren every bit of the day.
Yeah, Siren's sick. Like
Yeah.
the lesson here is that even though it's a mythic, it's not necessarily just slam down, right?
Yeah.
Siren.
I think people are also underestimating the Siren,
Mhm.
even when drawing. It's a
still,
1 drop, right? So
you
normally
think people
drawing
are
it's not that great.
still underestimating it?
It is better stats than a significant number of rares. Its improvement when drawn is 6.6%.
Yeah,
Its
that's
opening hand win rate is 65%.
It's a lot.
65%.
It's so
That's
good.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, this is a busted 1 drop.
yeah.
Like, I think it is often the better pick over your mediocre rare. And you look at your rare and you think, but like, this is a good rare. Because when you see a rare and it's playable, you want to play it. But Spyglass Siren might just be the pick.
So there's probably like with those stats, there's probably what 10 to 15 rares and or mythics that are better than Spyglass Siren.
For comparison, just like data wise, Zoetic Glyph, which is one of the other more busted, it's like 65.1, right?
Yeah.
Like comparable.
Yeah.
And that's
That's-
one of the other most busted, right? And then very few other things are really coming close.
Yeah.
Like just scrolling through.
Yeah.
You've got
If you sort by
Aquazons.
opening hand win rate, what's the number one opening hand win rate card?
let's see. The number one, the highest I've seen so far is Aquazot's Deepest Betrayal at 68.1.
That's the Bat God
It is, yeah, it's the Black God. It never dies. It just keeps coming back.
making you
Right.
Discord. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
if you
it makes
sort by it
bats
though,
randomly.
isn't
I'm not-
Dracosaur better?
Not seeing the sort by function.
You just click
Yeah.
you just click opening hand win rate.
I think Dracosaur has the games when drawn best win rate.
Dracosaur is definitely one of the more busted in the
Yeah.
set.
I think he's like 70. He's still
Yeah.
above 70%, which is just insane. He was such a good card to play with a couple weeks ago. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times with that guy.
I think you just got to click the title in the like the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonehorde Dracosaur is the highest there at 70.2%.
Yeah. Wow.
And
Wow.
that's
Wow.
Aquazots and then Polani Satyr. But for comparison, that's 5% higher than Spyglass Siren.
Yeah. That's quite a bit though.
I mean, it is, but we have 10 cards above Spyglass Siren.
Yeah.
10. That is it.
So 99% of the time, Spyglass Siren's
It's
the
just the
correct pick one.
I
Yeah.
got past it today. I was so excited.
What about Siren or Zoetic Glyph? What are you taking?
Ooh, that's a good
Back
one.
I'm
pick
taking
one.
Zoetic Glyph.
Really?
Ugh.
Siren's
The win
just
rates
so
are
much
comparable,
better standalone.
But Zoetic Glyph is not hard to enable.
That's
No,
true.
It's so easy to do. I got to take Zoetic Glyph.
Ugh.
Man.
It's so often it's a 5/4 3-mana haste that draws and casts a card when it dies.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever put one on the gold pick yet? The diamond pickaxe? Indestructible
I
5/4?
wanted to do that so badly, and I have not.
I've not either.
It's so good. I saw Robi doing it the other day. It was so
I
good.
drafted a pickaxe today on the off chance that I'd get one. I was like, I'm gonna splash this if it happens.
Even just putting on Oaken Siren is just busted.
Oh, it's been just good. Anything I put it on, it's been so good.
Yeah.
Just every time I'm like, this just doesn't even feel like, especially when you get it right on 3. If you got like a 2 drop into it to a 3 drop and you're just like 5, what are you gonna do? They
Stupid.
kill it and then you bring back, you get your 2/2 flyer,
Yep.
or you get your
Yeah.
Yep. It's good. It's real
Whenever I
good.
kill that, they always discover into a 3-drop. Every time.
Yeah.
Never anything lower.
Whenever mine dies, it's a 1-drop miner's guide wing. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cosmium blast. Like, why is this even in my deck?
Yeah, it always feels so bad when you hit those.
At least you can draw it and just put the fear in them that you have it.
Yeah.
It does feel way better than Cascade.
Oh
that's for
yeah.
sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whiffing on a Cascade feels real bad.
Yep.
I had a game today where I had the +3/+3, and so I revealed it on an Explorer, and I was like, I could keep, and I said this out loud too. I was like, I could keep this on top and put the fear in you for the rest of the game, or I could just discard it, and then you'll be like, wow, what the heck did you have in your hand that you're discarding a combat trick like that?
Yeah.
I discarded it, and I left mana open the entire game.
Oh gosh.
It was so good.
Oh gosh. That stuff will slide against some people, Andrew.
Oh man, looking stone faced.
Oh.
They ran into a counter.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yep, sounds right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good game though. It was a lot of fun. We had a good fun. It was good banter.
Yeah. All right. This week's Superfecta. You guys ready for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Favorite things about Christmas season, Christmas spirit. What do you guys think? You want to do that one? Easy, quick. Okay. Andrew, go first.
Seeing your family.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Classic. I'll go next.
All right.
Give me those sweet days off.
Oh man,
Give me the days off.
that's a good one.
What about you, Joel?
Days off, definitely good. I'm gonna have to go with the food.
Oh,
Like, I know we just had Thanksgiving not that long ago, but like the food at Christmas is amazing. Like, just so
Yes.
many good things.
Yep. Then you get another
get
one.
another one. Another one.
Ooh. We always go like and do things with my family. So like in this case, we're going skiing. So I'm gonna have to pick that. Like we always do some sort of Christmas vacation thing.
Yeah, that's
So,
fun.
fun activities.
I just love the Christmas lights. Just driving around, seeing the lights with the kids. Love it.
Yeah, Christmas lights was where I was going with that too.
Yeah.
You know, I like the Christmas, like you said, lights, decorations. Like you go home and you're just like, oh, we got the Christmas tree up. Maybe I should just say Christmas trees.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
say Christmas trees.
Christmas trees is a
There
good
you
one.
go.
All right, I got another one.
You get another one.
All right, good. Oh man, ooh, tough. I want to say presents, but I don't want to say presents. That's
Presents
not,
is a good one.
it's not what it's about, though. You know, like
I mean, giving and, you know.
I like the giving. I don't know. I actually just like it when like I give my parents a gift or whatever they open it. I like seeing them open it.
Yeah. The same with kids, right? Like,
Oh, I imagine that's got to be
Yeah.
like a big trip when you're just like, oh man, son,
Yeah.
here's your gift for the. Oh,
they're just playing with it all day. Like, you know what I mean? They just love it. Is
Oh yeah,
that what you're going with? Presents?
yeah, like giving presents.
Yeah, that's a good one. Giving presents. Yeah.
What?
That's
What?
a good
What
one.
was that? What was that?
That's a good one. Give me. Oh God, you got me sidetracked with the giving presents.
Right?
Yeah. Give me that them sweet Christmas jams.
Oh,
Nothing
damn.
gets you in the mood like, you know, Mariah Carey coming on.
How did I not do that one?
Give me them sweet
Jeez.
Christmas jams.
Good job. Good job.
The day after
That's a
Thanksgiving.
good one.
That's a good one.
What about you, Joel? Last two.
I'm gonna have to go with sleeping in
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
every day.
Oh, that's good.
You cannot be being able to just sleep in way too late every day. It's just perfect. Yeah.
Sleeping in's great. Yep. What else you got?
And then one more.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna go with the weather on this one. Like I actually kind of like when it gets a little colder out. Not like crazy cold, don't get me wrong, but when like you start to see the snow on the ground, all that.
It's a
It's
great excuse to stay indoors.
Exactly. You know what? I approve of that. I will go outside for a little while, but yeah.
Yeah. My kid's like, hey, let's go do something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Look at the roads. Let's start a fire and hang out.
You're just trying to hang out with your kids, man.
Yeah. I got to go with Christmas candy. I know you said the food. I'm going to take that as like main course stuff.
Yeah.
Me and my mom get together every year and we make like fudge and candies and,
Oh man.
the Christmas tradition, the Christmas candy. That's got to be my last pick.
I get a last pick now?
Yep.
Okay.
Stealing it out from under me.
All right. Here's my last pick. Hallmark Channel movies.
Gross.
I love them.
Oh no.
I love them
You
so
could have just
much.
said Christmas movies.
Okay, Christmas movies.
No,
then.
too late.
Dang it.
Yeah, no, you've committed now.
They're so
Wow.
good.
No, they're not. You're sad.
Home for the
You're
holidays.
so sad.
I used to respect
Christmas with my ex.
Wow.
I don't know. It's so good.
Oh my God, Andrew. How dare you?
Do you have no self-respect?
I feel bad for you now.
I like watching with my mom.
That's fair. If you're watching with your mom, that's better.
She loves them.
It gives you a little bit of an excuse, but not a full out.
Yeah.
Like, nothing can excuse that.
What's your favorite Christmas movie all time? Go.
Home Alone.
Joel?
Grinch.
Oh, so good.
Christmas Vacation. National
Ooh.
Lampoon's.
Oh, yeah. You would like
My
that.
favorite.
Oh,
We
yeah.
watch it every year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Well, is that all we got?
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you boys on the Flippity Flop.
Okay.
Bye.
Sign out, Joel.
See ya. Yeah, I don't have one of these.
See
I'm
ya?
never
Come
gonna have one of
on. J Riz
these.
out.
No, my new.
JD
My,
Riz
oh
out.
God, no. Nope, never. Nope. My thing is now not having one of these.
No.